Welcome back, everyone, to the To Industry podcast. My name is Hill. This is Mike Games and Andrew on our far right. And it's been some time because we had to wait for games to start happening and things to start doing. Wait a minute, I have that reversed. Anyway, I don't give a shit. Do what I want.
Go for it.
But something big actually happened just recently. Can you think about what it was?
Would it have to do with social network out there?
Social network. We're not talking about Twitter. We're not talking
No?
about MySpace
Not
because
twatting?
they're not
Twine.
the twatter. They're not anywhere to be found
MySpace?
with MySpace. Exactly.
No.
No, Facebook bought the makers of Oculus Rift.
Yes.
Why is everyone's first question. So what we're going to do is we're going to talk about that topic and what that means for the VR industry that's probably in the near future, and if that's even going to be a thing, what Facebook's plan is for that, and go and get you some popcorn because this might be like a long topic.
Could be. Could be.
It all depends on what Mike says in the next few sentences. What do you think about this overall, Mike? And then I'll break it down.
I don't even know what to say about it. I'm like, why? I
Okay, if you were to play, I guess devil's advocate, like, what would you think Facebook's focus is?
mean, I know they ended up integrating where you could call people now, through Facebook, but
But you
I
don't
guess-
actually want to see them, though, right?
well, it is becoming a big thing. A lot of phones are, doing the whole video chat thing and Skype and all that, but virtual, I don't know. I know a lot of kids and horny adults are gonna probably be using it for sexting.
I was gonna say it's for that long distance market. I guess they're trying to cater
Sex
to that.
book is actually going to happen now.
Sex book. It's an official thing. Thank you, Facebook. Well, I mean, okay. Well, Oculus Rift was originally meant to be kind of a video gaming.
Well, it was a
Accessory.
Kickstarter, right? I mean,
Right.
it started off Kickstarter. It was still admitted funds, or I think it did. And now they're getting out to developers and developing that. Here's my deal with that. The only thing I can think of is that they're doing some kind of Second Life type thing, or the way PlayStation did it with their virtual reality home type thing, which didn't do so well.
Oh yeah, PlayStation Home.
Yeah, so that's the only thing I can think of that they would do, and a social network type thing with VR.
I see what you're saying because Facebook is kind of being like this pastime for a lot of people.
Yeah,
So if you create this reality where people can actually meet
yeah,
in that way, that's probably what they're kind of moving towards.
yeah. So Second Life is out, right? I
Right.
mean, nobody uses Second Life anymore. Home is done.
Right.
Only to kind of rejuvenate anything like that would be VR.
Right.
You have your own place. Obviously you don't.
You have your own. You have your own wall,
right.
and people walk
in
up
real
and
life,
post
you live in a
things
shitty apartment, and you put on this VR thing, and you're in a mansion all of a sudden, and you have your
and you can look at people's updates.
Yeah.
And they post shit on the wall, and you get spammed with advertisement.
yeah. Yeah, and the games on Facebook games will, I guess some of them will implement VR.
Hell yeah, Farmville and
Farmville
VR.
and
But
VR.
then that's the thing is like, okay, so Oculus Rift was meant for the gaming territory. So why is it that Facebook wants to jump into that? So do you feel like Facebook is either trying to become a publisher, maybe something like what Amazon is doing, and they feel like that is an avenue that they're getting into?
Probably a way to just raise their stock.
No, I don't necessarily see that because I mean Amazon's been doing kind of weird things too. They've been buying companies. They bought Rare. Wasn't it Rare?
Right.
I think it
No,
was.
not Rare. It was sorry, developer, but it was the makers of Killer Instinct.
Yeah.
Mm.
So
And they actually changed their name anyway, so
yeah. So they bought them, and it seems like these companies are putting their foot in the water as far as video games go.
Mhm.
Especially with independent games, I think are going to stay around for a while.
Mhm.
It's definitely a place where if somebody can come up with a VR game or a system, I don't. I'm hoping that Zuckerberg has this plan in place and that he just didn't buy it just because he thought it was cool. which I mean, he very well could have. He has the
Right.
money to do it,
Right.
obviously.
Right. It's not like his yacht purchase or something. You know,
Yeah,
it's more of something that is substantial.
yeah. I mean, he's buying what a lot of people were talking about, and he just bought it under everybody's feet.
But
And
that's
even
the thing.
Minecraft guy pulled out because he was actually working on a version for Oculus Rift.
Right, and that's the thing is like Facebook is kind of the last thing you would think of somebody being a big player in the gaming industry. You know, granted, with they had Zynga and the other developer that was no, they only really had Zynga. They didn't have any other developer making games for their site, did they?
No, I mean, they do. I mean, they do have some dedicated Facebook games.
But
I
that's not
think,
it. That's like VR is just too advanced for something like that.
yeah. So I think what they're doing is they're going to make their own dev kit for it, and like I said, they'll probably have something like a home or a Second Life going into it. That's the
Okay.
only thing I can really think of.
Or maybe we could just be completely wrong. It's not going to have anything to do with Facebook. It's just some more revenue for them.
Well, that's
And
that's what I was saying is like, do you think that they're trying to become like more of a public? Is with you know,
You mean then release it to the open up and just let everybody develop for it?
right,
But
exactly,
they're getting all that
right,
money.
and they're just making all the money from it. Kind of similar to, well,
I don't see it not being integrated with Facebook at all. I really don't.
I mean, it could be integrated with Facebook still. Like if anything, I think everyone's kind of looking at Oculus Rift being integrated into Facebook rather than Facebook being integrated into Oculus Rift. You know, and it could be its own thing, and then you have the social networking kind of built into that. And while you're playing a game or something of that nature, then other people can kind of join in and use the Facebookiness
Yeah.
of that and incorporate that into the Oculus Rift environment because it's such an advanced tool and it's such a powerful idea for it to be able to stand on its own. And I think Facebook is too whimsical for you to try to incorporate that into Facebook.
It just seems very strange that I mean, obviously this thing's not going to be cheap when it comes out. I mean, we're looking
That's
at a
another
couple
point,
hundred
right?
bucks
Right.
for something that hasn't been proven. For if they're going to have one or two games, it's just you have to have something set up in place so that you want to put it on.
Right.
And that's why I say like the games, if they do come out with any 60 70 games 60 70 bucks a game, just assuming that's how much they are,
Right.
and then on top of that 200 300 bucks for the hardware,
Right.
and for Facebook not to be at the forefront of that, to be like, hey, Facebook is the place you go when you first put it on, and then you go through all these other places. Like I that's the way I would see it.
I think what we have to do based off the purchase, just to make sense of it, I think we have to step back and look at what Facebook's goal is as a whole. You know, I think they're going to try to move away from like their not move away, but develop something beyond their whole advertisement model, where they you just have people come to your site, show some ads, make money off of that because that is only so much revenue that they can obtain. And I mean, they are a public company now, so they have to figure out something to make more money.
Right.
So, with that being said, I mean, the Oculus Rift.
Well, what Home did was they actually had ads and billboards and stuff like that, on TV screens and when you were walking around in it. So I don't see why.
But people didn't do it because it was boring. Like I mean, they didn't enjoy it because there was it was difficult.
It was a pain in the ass.
It was a pain in the ass, right?
So
Exactly.
if they're able to fix that, that's why I think Facebook will be integrated into it. Like it's going to be the main part.
And also, you have to understand who's customers. Other than just saying people, we're
And
talking
mom.
about right. We're talking about casual, like
Yeah,
extremely
well, they'll
casual.
still be regular Facebook, obviously for them.
Right.
But this is to go out there to the trendy kids that want it.
all the hipsters.
So you think they spent all
VR
that?
was cool back when VR was cool.
So you believe
Like
all
with a
that?
virtual boy.
Oh, right. Exactly. What if it did look like Virtual Boy? My eyes still hurt from that. Do you think that? I think I kind of just lost my. Basically, it's like, do you believe that Facebook is going to move away from what they are used to and try to move into these other markets and kind of grow like Google and do wherever the hell they want, like Amazon? Or do you think they're really going to?
What if they do something like you don't need a computer, all you need is the Oculus Rift,
Okay.
and that is your main computer base, right? And then because they've been talking about getting internet to a lot more people, a lot easier access to it. They've been
Right.
trying to do this for a while. So what if that's integrated into the Oculus Rift? You have computer access
Kind
all
of to
right there,
supplant like the
and so
computer.
instead of going through Google and all that, you just search everything through your Facebook thing,
Okay.
Facebook search or something like that.
Okay.
So I could totally see them being like, we're not doing laptops, we're not doing a phone, we're just doing this as our hardware.
Because other like side products that they've tried, like their Facebook phone, they've always tried to figure out a way to quickly get people to come to Facebook.
Right.
And it seems like everyone's tied to them figuring out a way for people to get back to Facebook, as you say, like the Oculus Rift. Now, do you think that they're going to design a higher level of Facebook, and that's what their plan is? Just like how you said, maybe like a virtual reality Facebook. Oh
Yeah.
well, maybe I should be asking Mike because I think you already answered that. So Mike, what do you think?
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I really don't see people buying this shit just so they could get
Just
on
say it.
Facebook. You know?
That's what I'm saying. It's like it has to be another thing that they see that we're maybe not seeing. I personally, I think they're trying to become like another type of publisher. Similar to like Google.
Well,
Or
they're obviously getting their forefront in the technology, right? Right now, this is where everything.
this is their big.
This
This
is
is
where
their
the-
first big
This is where
advanced
they
technology
see the
purchase.
future
Yeah.
going, right? And they're now they bought the hardware for it, so I think I'm hoping that they have a plan for it. That it takes over a laptop, it takes over a desktop. You don't have that anymore. You just have this thing.
They also bought WhatsApp, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so their three largest purchases, and I'm probably missing one, was Instagram, WhatsApp, so everyone's staying connected.
Well, let's not forget Back to the Future 2 predicted this. Because when they were in the kitchen eating their pizza that was dehydrated number 4, she had the thing on and she saw calls coming in and everything. So there it is. We're in the future and Facebook is it.
And that's the thing is like, do people want to do that?
Well, they did in the movie.
There's also the Google Glass that does the same thing.
Ah,
and-
fuck.
I was gonna say you're saying all that, and then there's this thing called Google Glass.
Yeah.
Yeah, Google Glass, like the goggles are not big enough for you, right? You gotta have.
I want Back to the Future because then that just leads to hoverboards. That's the only
One
thing.
more year.
We're getting the shoelaces. Nike already said that they're coming out with that. Hopefully,
Yeah,
it
they're
wasn't a
working on
joke.
No, actually, they're trying to work on it.
And we have Apple TVs and Google TVs
All this stuff,
and
right?
yeah. So yeah,
Okay. So basically, we are cynical old man. We don't know if it's going to be something that's very fruitful for Facebook. I think it's either A, that they're trying to become a publisher, or they're just taking a shot in the dark. Mike, what's your final prediction of that?
I still don't know what the fuck they bought it for. I guess I could see what Andrew's saying, but even then, I wouldn't
It's too
buy
expensive. Yeah, as a consumer, it would have to be too expensive to delve into something like that.
I personally see like if they can get the price down instead of, hey, you want to buy a laptop for $1,000 or you want to buy a VR set that does everything a laptop does.
Well, that would mean that it has to do other things other than Facebook.
Oh, and that's what I'm thinking
it would have
they're
to
doing.
So that means they would have to create like another OS,
Yeah.
like a Facebook OS.
They have the money to do that.
Well, shit. Amazon has the money to do that too, and they're not making an OS.
Well, yeah. Well, they're using Google's, right, for their Kindles and stuff
Right.
like that. So
Right. They're using Android.
So I have a feeling that you'll probably see something that Facebook is working on.
that would be a big ballsy move by them to say, you know what, we're going to get in the OS market.
for that particular headset. Yeah.
Well, that's just if they do that. That means in general they're getting in the OS market because then you're competing.
But if it's just that one piece of hardware, right? Because think about it, when Apple came out with the iPhone,
Right.
that market would never existed.
Well, that's true.
And so if they're seeing if what I think Zuckerberg is thinking, because I'm Zuckerberg, and he's saying like, this is what I see the future going towards. I'm going to buy this hardware right now, and I'm going to perfect it the way I want it to be done, so that just like the phone was, now everybody copied the iPhone and took all that stuff. He's seeing the VR set. This is the future. I'm going to create my OS system for this, and what I want to see done, and basically, because they have their foot in the door first, they'll have a.
Well, I don't think it's going to work because he didn't steal it from two twins. Anyway, so we are going to cut off here now. I guess we're going to talk about in the second segment is VR. Is the VR industry actually going to be a real thing?
Or just a fad.
Or is it just going to be a fad? Because not only is Oculus Rift trying to jump in there, Sony's trying to jump in there, and there's another company trying to raise money for it as well. I don't think you guys
There's
heard of it.
rumblings about Microsoft.
Yeah,
also.
I heard about this other third company. It wasn't. It was like glasses where like you can only see like half of it or something.
Right.
like that,
I think that's the one I was talking about. But we'll catch you soon.